Hey Lufefe, hope all is well with you. This is Johnny Petrucco. I trust that you have been using this decision support system every single week to record your financials and make proper decisions. The purpose of this video is to give you a high-level overview of the system we provided you and refer back to this if you ever forget something or need an extra reminder. But first off, notice that all these blue tabs are for your analysis. This is not to input numbers. This will help you analyze sales, expenses, and so on. So the first starting point is number one, wheat-based. These first four tabs are your manual inputs. Using Maverick's tracking sheet, the baker's tracking, container sales, and the promoter tracking, you manually input made for, delivered, received, and sold. Notice that this tab is for wheat-based, and this will be for Monday. We can see that on Tuesday, you made 15 for Kylie Chaspar, you delivered 15 and received 15. If, for example, 15 were made and 0 were delivered, that's problematic. You need to look into this. Remember, always ask questions. Every number deserves a question. So make sure you fill out each column and be sure to remember the promoter name. To number 2, gluten-free bread. You only sell this at C Point Spar. This should be filled out all the way down Thursday, Friday, Saturday to Sunday. And remember, the events are here on the bottom and your total price for stock. Okay, on to the third sheet. Again, Monday for spinach feta muffins. This time you only made and deliver muffins in the containers. Maybe you will be supplying the spars with muffins. At this point, you were not, but you can always add that in. And the last tab is your other muffins, including cheddar, onion, vanilla, chocolate, and any other creation that you come up with. Again, these are based off of your baker tracking, container sales, and promoter tracking sheets. They resemble the same template, and you need to double check to make sure that you put the number in the correct spot. For example, if this 19 was actually here, that doesn't make any sense. You need to fix that. So it requires to be very meticulous and make sure that these numbers are correct, or else the system will not work. So now that we've entered for 1, 2, 3, 4, let's move on to 5. This will automatically summarize these 4 tabs. You can see the bread totals, wheat-based bread up here, gluten-free bread, and down below is the spinach muffin and the other muffins. Okay, the only part that is not automatically entered is this sold spar tab for wheat-based bread. The reason for this is the promoters may have sold 60 loaves of bread, but when you get the spar statement, you may have actually sold 75 loaves of bread. This must be manually entered on a weekly basis based off of the statement that Spar provides you. So we found out that Kylie Chaspar actually sold 85, here was 50, and C Point was 60. This is something you manually enter, and that goes for every orange cell that you see is a manual enter. Okay, so this is your summary of the week. And the next step here is to copy the total column. Remember, start here on cell B11, hold shift, and press the right arrow. Keep going. Keep pressing the right arrow until you make it to the end. If you go too far, just go back. Control C. Now move on to the monthly sales. Okay, so now you see January, but this week was actually in August. So you need to scroll down. Keep scrolling down until you find August. All right, so this week was week 34, starting in August 22nd. Notice you've already had previous data from the last 3 weeks, and now we can copy and paste values into this column. There's two ways to do that. Number one, if you go to the Home tab and click up here, the paste. In fact, let me show you like this. And when you click the arrow, you will see this paste values. It'll say paste values. So I click that, and there we go. We can double check. Yep, it went all the way to column S, and now we're good. Now we need to fill in the muffins for week 34. Go back to weekly sales, and let us scroll down to totals. Again, hold shift and right arrow all the way down till you cover to column Q. If you don't want to do Control C, you can go up to this top left of the screen again and simply click copy. So let's do that, copy. Notice all the squiggles mean that it is copying, and go on to monthly sales. Remember, this is for muffins, week 34. So we find the right cell, which is the made for, and we need a copy into this cell. Okay, I showed you the first option, which was the drop-down arrow. Now the second option is if you right-click, you can see paste values. So let's do that. Awesome. Now this gives you the total month, made for, deliver, sold, and so on. This will automatically tabulate into your next column, your next spreadsheet, which is yearly sales. Don't touch this tab. This is for your analysis to see how much you've made, sold, and so on for each product. Wheat-based, gluten-free, and muffins. Now we're on to our expenses. This is your salary payment. This date is when you actually paid it, and this is for the pay period. This is how much you have actually paid. Notice on the commission payment, this is a running history of all of the commissions you have paid. For week 31 through 33, you have information for, but we're in week 34. In order to find week 34 information, go into the weekly commission formula and type in the promoter names. This week's promoter names is Johnny and Maverick. Notice how this automatically populated. If you enter the name correctly here, and the promoter's name were clearly identified in the first 4 tabs, this will work just fine. Now you need to enter the data for this week. Use the drop-down box, week 34. Johnny was 324 this week. And Maverick for week 34. It's easier to do the drop-down box. He sold 302.4. This tab is done, and you can even go ahead and delete this as you are going to save this workbook for week 34, August 22nd. And not only do you need to delete this section, but we can get rid of all of this information so that the next week is fresh and you're not repeating the same information. So do this on your own time, and I will continue with this session. Cost of goods sold. Please update your cost of goods sold. Currently, this is what you have, and this will be a reference for you at a later time when you can update your cost of goods sold. Your operating expenses is the date that you purchased a receipt, who did you buy from, what did you buy, what's the category, again, use a drop-down box, and then how much did you pay for. Do this every single week and save your receipts. Okay, the last 2 tabs are analysis. We can see our sales, which is shown on a monthly basis. In order to see the total sales for second week in August, make sure to select data and apply, and you can see how the numbers are changing. And then on this side, you have your total sales per unit each month. Your last expense column shows you a high-level view of operating and payroll expenses.